Oh my goodness. Broncos country, what in the hell did we just watch, man? One of the crazier games I've witnessed in a long time. The Broncos, you talk about the tale of two halves, the tale of, really it felt like it was four games in one. Every quarter was just throwing something different. But the Broncos got their ninth win. They secured their first winning season since the Super Bowl year of 2015. And they have now officially a 91% chance of making the postseason. It was ugly, and I'm telling you guys something. The Broncos are playing with fire right now. If they don't fix some things in this team, it's going to come back and haunt them in a really, really bad way. They do have some issues, but I'm not going to focus on those too much today because I don't care. The Broncos got a huge win, 31-13, and let me tell you guys, the game was much closer than that. I don't know how the hell we ended up winning by 18, but we did. And thanks to Nick Bonito again for an absolutely game-changing superstar-esque play with another pick six to the house. Pretty crazy stuff going on, man. Pretty crazy stuff. And the defense pitched the shutout in the second half. Um, and they played so well. They made a couple adjustments after the first few drives. And let's face it, man, Jonathan Taylor, thank you. Well, you know what? We need to sign Jonathan Taylor in the offseason if possible, because Jonathan Taylor clearly sent a message today giving us uh, by far and away what's going to be my favorite Christmas gift by fumbling the ball, short of the goal line. Um, that was getting ready to be a 20-7 game. There was so many crazy things that happened, man. But let me tell you guys something. I'm so thrilled as a Bronco fan. I'm so pumped up about this team and the trajectory in which we're on. I had a 102-degree fever before the game. I was riding on momentum. I felt great, and then after the game ended, I started feeling like crap again. So, hopefully you guys are dealing with me. But man, oh man, it was incredible in every single way. The Broncos somehow managed to win by more than 10 points and still get, I think, under 200 total yards of offense. It might be the first team, they talked about that on the broadcast, I think, first team to win by more than 10 by and only have a total of what were the totals here today? Let me double check here for you guys. That was crazy though. That was crazy. The Broncos ended up with 193 total yards. um, Bo Nix had 130 yards passing, three terrible interceptions, but he did have three touchdowns. This was definitely one of his worst games. And I'm okay with that in a sense of like, I'm okay with it because we got the win. These things are going to happen. People keep forgetting that like Bo Nix is a rookie and he's going to have bad games. And I think the way that he talked about even in the post game, go check it out if you haven't yet, guys, how to get over those things, how to be able to, continue to trust your reads and trust what's going on. And I don't think the team did him too many favors, but he's got to be better with that. But you also have to understand this is a rookie quarterback that for so many weeks has been putting the offense on his back because of the lack of a run game. And against the Colts, this was the week I really thought, I said, this is the week, guys, that we're going to pop off in the run game because the Colts are terrible against the run. They can get got. I felt like we were really going to have a good rotation. And Bo Nix ends up being our leading rusher, 8 carries for 23 yards. Jaleel, 7 for 21. He ended up leaving with an injury. Javante, 6 for 15 in a common Javante game. And even estimate, Audric, 5 carries for 13 yards. And Marvin Mims, 1 carry for 0 yards. Let me just put this on the screen because this is wild. This is wild stuff. And this right here, 27 carries for 72 yards and a 2.7 yard average. Guys, that is horrendously bad. You're not going to win a lot of football games by doing that. And definitely when you're passing the ball for 130 yards, 3 touchdowns, 3 picks, right? We ended up getting 5 turnovers. We forced 5 turnovers against the Colts. But we can't keep doing that. But I'm not going to sit here and be a Debbie Downer tonight. Your Denver Broncos, have a 91% chance of making the playoffs with a win. Guys, the Broncos play again in 5 days, 4 days even. If you want to, yeah, pretty much 4 days on Thursday. In LA against the Chargers with a chance to clinch a playoff spot. Mind you, it's a Chargers team that got smoked today by the Bucs. They've been dealing with a lot of injuries too. And it's going to be one of those, it's going to be by far and away the toughest game of the season. I think we're going to have a lot of injuries on our end. PS2 unfortunately got hurt late in the game. It didn't look very good in a sense of him being able to play on Thursday. But I mean, who knows? Um, we're going to really see what this team is made of. But let me tell you guys again, if we cannot run the ball better, it's going to be a quick playoff exit if we even make the playoffs. Because I'm not going to sit here and talk about the playoffs until 100% we are clinched. But we need to be better, and I think the Broncos understand that. Maybe and it seems it's crazy because it seems like the every time we switch up a starting running back, like for example, the first time we gave Tyler Bidet the start, he gets injured that game. Today we started Jill McLaughlin, he gets injured this game. But maybe he's not going to be available on Thursday, and maybe we're finally able to see a little bit of Blake Watson, and who knows, maybe he's the spark because right now the three that we have is just not going to cut it. It ain't going to cut it. But kudos to this team, the heart that they showed. They were really playing poorly. I didn't like the energy of the team. I felt like coming off of the bye really affected them. And there was a point in the game too where the body language of players. Sutton was kind of getting irritated with Sean on the second interception both through. Because I think Sutton kind of ran the wrong route or didn't run it deep enough. So Sutton was kind of hanging his head. Bo Nix was throwing the tablet and get mad about that. I mean, even Riley Dixon was pissed, and for whatever reason, Will Lutz had to come in and calm him down. The team, I was really worried about them. Was kind of seemed like that they were spiraling, and then Nick Bonito and Marvin Mims, they really, really gave the team a spark. I wouldn't even say that Jonathan Taylor necessarily gave the team a spark. I think it more deflated the Colts, right, more than anything, because even after that play where he fumbled the ball on a 7-point swing, the Broncos looked terrible. They went 3 now, and that was that. So Marvin Mims was really incredible today in the return game. Man, he had some big time punt returns. One of them, he almost took it down to the house. Thankfully, the Broncos were able to capitalize it on a Nate Atkins touchdown, and they really didn't look back after that. 17-13 lead is what that gave them. And then after that, boom, Nick Bonito gets that huge pick six. Now it's an 11-point game. And then, in the last few minutes, Cortland Sutton just shakes the DB out of his boots and took a 30-yard touchdown pass from Boda Sutton wide open in the end zone. And so it made it look like it was a blowout, but my God, this game was tough. This game was really, really tough. I was not a fan of it by any means, but I was a fan of the result and the end of it. And Broncos country, I want to know what you guys are thinking, man. I don't really care so much that this team has, a few issues that are concerning because they've already, unbelievably exceeded expectations. I picked this team to have 9 wins. A lot of people thought that I was crazy for thinking, you really think the Broncos are going to win one more game than they did last year by cutting this and all these different players? And I just believed so because I felt like the moves that they made were necessary and they were good moves. And I really trusted that, Sean Payton was going to be able to get the most out of these guys. Well, dudes, it's December 15th. There's still 3 games left and the Broncos have just won 9 games. It's amazing. It's amazing. And enjoy this as much as we can, but we got a quick turnaround in LA. God, I wish I could go to that game, man. That'd be fun. But huge game coming up to clinch a playoff spot against a division opponent on Thursday Night Football. You got to love it. Really, really hope we get a chance to get more information on Patrick Surtain. I hope it's just a really minor ankle injury. It didn't look like it was anything that crazy, which sometimes really scares me, but he looked like he was in a lot of pain, especially after that tackle that he made. He was shaken up a little bit after the pick, came back in, seemed fine, and then something got re-aggravated. You just don't want to hear high ankle sprain, guys. You hear high ankle sprain, we'll have to find a way to make it into the playoffs, and you probably won't see Pastor 10 until then. But good news is, I think of the remaining games on the schedule, and we'll see how the last game versus Kansas City goes. The Chargers are the team where you could probably overcome a Patrick Surtain injury more than anything else, right? Because you got, the following week, you got T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. Good Lord, are you going to need some secondary play? But the Chargers are that team that, yes, they can beat you in the air, but they focus more on the run game. So we'll see. We'll have different videos. I don't want to get ahead of myself. But I'm rambling, man, because this was a crazy game in so many ways. I felt like it went on 5 hours longer than they normally do. Um, it was just such an up and down game. But overall, super happy with how the team fought. Shout out to VJ, man. I mean, he looked like the defense looked like it was going to kind of pick up where it left off last week in a sense of just like a slow start, not looking good, sluggish, missing tackles. He made some in-game adjustments this time, and boy, oh boy, was he impressive on that. The defense was just balling. We confused the hell out of Anthony Richardson. He didn't know what to do. He went 17 of 38 for 172 yards, 2 picks, no touchdowns, 4.5 average. So it was not. It was if you know if you're an NFL fan that loves to see the ball getting chucked around the yard, it was not that. But you know, kudos to the Broncos for being able to pull this one off. And guys, let me tell you something that I kind of realized today, right? Because it was really nice to see Adam Troutman score a touchdown. It was great to see Nate Atkins again get a touchdown. That play call that they ran to him was awesome. They did the same thing a couple weeks back. But it seems like every time the ball's thrown to our tight ends, like good things happen. Lucas Kroll, 2 targets, 2 catches. Nate Atkins, 1 target, 1 catch, 1 touchdown. Adam Troutman, 2 targets, 2 catches, and a touchdown. And that's kind of been the theme in it. So it's like, are our tight ends actually as bad as they seem to be when you look at the stat sheet? Or do we just not utilize them maybe as much as we needed to? But it was frustrating. I was surprised. Devon Vele, 0 catches today, 1 target. Yeah, the offense really couldn't get anything going. They really couldn't. But man, I'm happy that game's behind us. I'm so thrilled. The Broncos won a much needed game, a huge game, the biggest game, like I've told y'all, the biggest game in Broncos, for the Broncos since Super Bowl 50. So, how you guys feeling, man? Let me know below in the comments. Love to interact with you guys. I'd love to get a pulse of where Broncos country is because I've kind of shifted my mindset, right? Of, hey, I just want to be able to make the playoffs and it's a successful season. And now I'm kind of starting to shift my model of like, where can we improve and how can we get better? So let me know what you guys think below. How we feeling? Go Broncos, baby. I'm going to try to fight this cold off or whatever the hell I got, this little flu. And I'll be ready. I ain't questionable for Thursday night. I'll be full go, ready to rock. Appreciate y'all tuning in, man. Spend time with those that you love the most. And until next time, peace out. And thank you, Jonathan Taylor, for the fumble.